Okay, so now my next guest, and Simon Osemensa, he's a member of parliament for Bosomtwe, but also the fourth deputy speaker of the ECOWAS parliament. Thanks for joining me, Simon.
Thanks.
All right. Now, there's been a raging issue over, is it the last 3 days, from over the weekend, about a young lady, purportedly, who was arrested in London following attempts to smuggle cocaine. We're told 12 kilograms and having a street value of $5 million. And initially there were pictures that were relating the story to a known sympathizer of the NDC who apparently over the last 24 hours seemed not to be the lady in question and seemed to have brought a lot of ramifications, even leading to a known CEO of a radio station, City FM, being detained at the BNI for some time, or been called in for questioning. Let's put it in all that context. What do you make of it? The subject of the drugs in itself, how it passed through our airports, and now all this very controversy that seemed to have been recorded as a result of the incidents.
Thank you very much. You know, the issue of drugs, we've not handled it well. Almost any time it occurs, we over-politicize it.
You mean as a country?
As a country, we over-politicize it. We don't examine the issue, look at the challenges that we have, especially at our airports, in controlling the drug menace. We rather apportion blames and then blame one political party or the other. Now, this lady went through our airport here. We are told we have scanners that can detect cocaine and other things. What happened? That she could go through up to UK before she was arrested. Is it the fact that our scanners are not the best? Is it the fact that we have some people who have compromised themselves at the airport and for that matter allowed her to go through the airport without being properly screened? You see, these are the questions we have to ask ourselves and put the right systems and mechanisms in place so that we can detect people who try to use our airports as the means of getting away with their illicit business. If we don't do that, we always have these problems and the country will be disgraced globally. If we had arrested her in Ghana, it would have been a plus to us for detecting it. Now the person goes through our immigration system and gets to another country for her to be arrested. It's a disgrace. And it's because of the way we handle it. Now it's taking another dimension. You've realized because initially the lady had been associated with the NDC, the government apparatus is trying to defend. And this has been the situation most often. I remember when some incidents occurred previously, they look at the person, they look at the person's relatives and friends, they link them to a political party and tag the political party. You remember around 2008, the MPP was being called Narcotic Peddlers Party. Do you understand it? And it goes on and on and on. If we don't stop this and look at the issue realistically and objectively and find solution to it, we will always find ourselves in such a situation. Cocaine worth $5 million. It's not a small parcel. It's a big parcel. And we could not detect it. We didn't scan the handbag.
You think it's surprising?
Really, very, very surprising. How did he go through? Even me, myself, can you believe that I hardly use the VIP? You can go to the airport and check.
If you use the VIP, are you searched?
No, there's some laxity there. Do you understand it?
But it's supposed to be for officials and personal.
Exactly. Okay. If this person went through the normal checking system or route, The question we answer is, how many of these people have been able to sail through without being detected? The earlier we people, we all sit around, talk together, design strategies, and put the best systems in place to arrest this illicit trafficking of drugs. I don't want Ghana to be tagged as one of the exit points for illicit drugs. It doesn't talk well about us. You know, when you often attend international conferences, workshops, and meetings, your patriotism intensifies or increases. Because if you listen to the positives and negatives they talk about your country, it changes to a greater extent your mindset and even the way you do your politics. You begin to realize that the country is more important than any single political party in this country. For example, if people start talking about democracy in Ghana, they don't relate it to African democracies. They relate it to democracies in the West. So if you're a Ghanaian in the midst of such a discussion, you feel proud. At the same time, if negative things are being said about the country, you ask yourself, why? Why are we doing this to ourselves as a country? So to me, I don't want to go the angle that the issue has started. Do you understand it? Because like a friend of mine yesterday said, called me and said, why don't you call maybe the NDC national dealers in cocaine? Then I said, please. Then we are going back to what NDC did and we said it was wrong. Let's get away from there. Let's look at the lady. Let's find how she got away with it through our airports and got to UK and then find solution to them.
And beyond the issue of politicization, it also means that there's laxity in a system we purport to have strengthened over the last couple of years.
Yes, exactly. I was going to the angle that you just landed. Look, cocaine dealing and drug dealing will forever be with us. Forever be. Whatever system you put in place, they are always one step ahead of us. I mean, that's a trade. I mean, it's a worldwide trade. Even almighty America, with all their surveillance cameras.
Actually, it's there that you get the biggest bust.
Biggest
from
bust.
The Mexican and the Colombian.
It's a whole institution. You have a factory where this is being manufactured, right? And even it is alleged that in America, in certain parts of it is even part of the government's policy to even import some to the system to assuage the feelings of those who consume, because there are people who are ready to consume it, whether you like it or not.
And if they don't get...
They have a problem on their hands. You see, as to whether it should be legalized or not is another question for all this hullabaloo to stop, you know. People are arguing that legalize the thing and then let it go and all this arrest and all these things. But this is not the first time.
But that's beside the point.
That's beside the point. This is not the first time that we've heard cocaine. So sometimes, like my brother said, the moment this thing happens, we want to target with political parties, then you lose the import of the whole thing. The lady has committed a crime because carrying cocaine is a crime. Secondly, this get-rich syndrome that we're talking about.
Get rich quick.
Yes, get rich quick syndrome that we've been talking about. That we talk about corruption. These are the results. People who are not prepared to work hard to eke out a living, and they want the quickest way to make money. We see all these flashy cars going on, and we rather applaud them. We don't ask them questions. Where are you getting all those monies from? So for me, when I heard it, to me, it's no news that we should make it front page. We made it front page because we want to target a political party. That is the only reason that you find the newspapers put on a headline, because the president holding a diplomatic passport, and you said this.
It was
the argument, and that he's a friend to somebody in the NDC. I mean, all these things will not help us. She has committed a crime. The surveillance system at Kotoka Airport can be broken, I think, because you have human beings working there.
There could be influence.
It could be influence. You know, the person working there, those who have been asked to man the place, have you checked their security bag? If you did, well, you know our system. The person will go and see somewhere and broker a deal with my brother here that when you are coming, I will close my eyes. You know, so for me, the important thing is that we have to continually make the stride and effort to ensure that these things are curtailed or minimized. But to say that you are going to stop it, I mean, it's an act in futility. It's an act in futility. But we mustn't give up hope. We should keep on trying to stem the tide of cocaine smuggling. But then we should also ensure that we stop this trying to score political points on this kind of thing. Only about 2-3 months ago, there was another story of a cocaine, somebody from Ghana to having arrested with cocaine. So every month or so, you are going to, because this trade is going on every day, every time, every moment. So.
But, Mr. Mensah, during the time of Kofi Annan, there was this UN special envoy on narcotics, and this is what he said. He said, there is no way judiciary systems, especially in the developing world, can deal with the influx of drugs from the coasts of the Americas now going through the coast of West Africa into Europe and the United States of America. And so if the United States and Europe can't deal with it, how do we expect the developing countries to deal with it? Well, following that also, we've had Operation West Bridge and all sorts of things. Yeah. And it's a phenomenon that seemed to have blighted the world. Now, as a country, what sort of commitments should we be making towards it, beyond just the rhetoric of saying there's a policy direction towards it?
Okay. You know, my brother, as much as I agree with what the envoy said, no illegal activity can be eradicated 100%. But you ask yourself, why do we make laws? We make laws to minimize the effect or the number of such illegal activities that will take place. Because if you throw your hands in despair and say that I can't stop it altogether, so I won't act, then it will get worse. Secondly, why do they normally channel it through West Africa? Because we have weak systems at our airports. And the Americans, or the markets for these illicit drugs, are not in West Africa. So West Africa is used as transit point. If somebody is going from Mexico straight to the US, the type of screening the person will go through is different from somebody moving from Ghana to the US. So they rather channel through areas that the Americans will not suspect. And they find us as also weak. So they come through our place and get to the market, the target market. So we are not the target market. Even though some may remain here, but it will be insignificant. But the target market is the European countries and the US. So if we talk about policy, in the first place, you cannot do without a policy. The policy should give you the guide. But we should back the policy with the resources required. We should back the laws with the resources required. You can make a fine policy. You can come with one of the best of laws. But if the resources to implement the law are not there, the law will just remain on the shelf. So what you have to look at is, fine, what is wrong at our airports? Are the scanners good? If they aren't, do we have to replace them? If the scanners are good, how come they are able to go through? Then you come to the human resource aspects.
The integrity of the people.
Exactly. Then the integrity of the people is called to question. Maybe there could be a link. People even there, you put there as security personnel. They are within the business. They find their way there to ensure that their people can get away with whatever they are doing. So you have to question the integrity and put these people on surveillance. For instance, this lady, the day that she left the airport, all the people who were on duty must be questioned. They are all suspects. That is how the advanced countries are able to nip most of these things in the bud. You cannot stop it completely. It's impossible. I don't think there's any crime on this earth any country can stop 100%. It's not possible. But you minimize it so that the effect on the economy will be reduced. So to me, I agree. I won't say we should leave the policies. The policies and the laws must be there. But we have to back these policies and laws with the required resources.
And the action that
and the action that we require.
I saw you were shaking your head.
Yeah,
you wanted to.
Roland, I mean, in the Americas, where the system that you are talking about are well placed, they have more problems than we have.
Actually, the bus they record sometimes are very
huge, unimaginable. Yeah. People have got their own private jets that go to land at the so-called. You know, what I'm trying to say is that, like, we try to, in this part of our world, we try to make a lot about cocaine busting because we tend to politicize it. So the requisite actions that we need to take, right? We don't do that. This person who had been, so if people are caught with cocaine and punitive measures are put in place, look, go and look at all the cocaine stories that are cocaine busting that has taken place. Find out what has happened actually to the people. What kind of punitive measures have and do we make the people aware of the punitive measures that are meted out to them? Sometimes within a couple of years or you realize the person even disappears in the system. You know, what we need to do, right, is as best try to minimize the trade. But to give it headlines like that, I believe
they're just sensational.
It's just sensational.
Okay.